So since I'm using my driver's license on a metal sublimation blank, I'm going to measure my sublimation blank now. Mine is 8.5 centimeters by 5.5 centimeters. So I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to use it in centimeters, and I'm going to do 8.7 centimeters by 5.7 centimeters. I'm adding 0.2 centimeters. I want it to be 300 pixels per inch. This is just allowing me to create my size that I would like my Santa file. So now I'm going to open my Santa file that I said to print. I'm going to Control C to copy it and Control V to put it in here. I need to expand mine out slightly, and I'm okay with it going over the edge a bit. I just want to make sure it's the size I want for my particular sublimation blank. So I love this. So I'm going to save this as, oh, sorry, I have to save a copy. Save a copy as a JPEG for sub blank print front, whatever you want to call it. I now need to do the same for the back of my license. So I open it, I Control C to copy it, and then I am going into my file that I know is the proper size, and I'm resizing this to fit into the area of my blank. If you guys have your way of doing this, just do it how you know how. This is just for someone who's maybe not done this before. Okay, sub blank print back. The next thing I do is I like to save my paper, so I would probably add some other projects on here, but I'm going to create an 11 by 8.5 inch paper. I know that's a full paper size, and I'm going to open up the two print me's, and I'm going to control copy and paste it in. That's for the back. Oops, I guess I didn't get the front opened. Let's open the front. And Control C and Control V. So now I put it in my photo how I want. I'm going to copy these. I'm going to make a whole bunch of them at once. Print a bunch at once so I don't waste paper. And I'm just going to keep duplicating these layers so that I can get as many as I can on my one piece of paper. And these ones I should be able to duplicate and then turn them to fit in the spot. This is how I try to get as much per paper as I can, because I don't like wasting my paper. Perfect. So now I would save this as a copy, and I would save it as a Santa printable sheet. And now when I want to print this, I'll open up my Santa printable sheet, and I'm going to image, I'm going to rotate, and I'm going to flip it horizontal before I print, because I'm doing sublimation. So now make sure that you print this on high resolution, and make sure that your print is dry before you go on to the next step. So I have cut out two of my Santa designs. I'm not going to cut it super close. I've cut the back and the front. I'm not going to cut it super close, but I am going to leave a little bit. I'm leaving the edges on because I don't need to be perfect on this. So this is what my blank looks like. It's a metal sublimation plate. It has plastic on both sides. So before we do anything, make sure your hands are clean. You're going to want to take off the plastic on both sides, even though I'm not gonna sublimate both sides at once. I'm gonna do one at a time. So I like to tape mine onto the paper. Then I know I'm lining up well. I actually also like to tape it on to a bigger piece of paper. I have another sub here that I'm gonna use. I'll just take the paper. If you have a blank piece of paper, just use it. I'm going to use this for a different project. I'm just going to have a piece of paper here so that I can actually make sure that my design doesn't move, because that one's really close to the edge here. So I'm going to try to line it up as best as I can for this license. If you have a little bit off the edge, it doesn't matter too much. I'm looking to get it straight and not cut off anything important. So once I have it where I want it, I tape it from the back down onto the paper. I find if you tape it from the front, sometimes you see the tape lines, and I don't want to see the tape lines. So you don't need to use tons of tape. I'm just being careful because I have 2 pieces of paper here. I don't want it moving. So now I have this ready. All right, my press is ready at 350 for 45 seconds. I have my paper ready. I'm going to put it down with the print side up onto a piece of parchment, and then I'm going to add a layer of parchment over top. It says between 350 and 360. My press runs hot, so I'm doing 350. All right, remember this is hot. I'm going to take the paper so I'm not touching the hot part, and I'm going to peel it off carefully without my gloves. You should use your heat gloves. Be much easier with your heat gloves, but that metal is going to be super hot, so don't touch it. I can feel the heat already. So I'm peeling it hot, and it's looking really amazing. And yes, she's hot. So that is the front of my amazing driver's license. So to do the back, you're going to need for this to completely cool. So I'm taking it off, and I'm going to let it get completely cold before I put the back on. My video got ruined for how I line this up for my second side of my card. So I'm going to show you again. It is my double printed card, but let's pretend I have not printed the back onto this card yet. So I'm going to take my front printed card, and I'm going to take my design, and I'm going to lay the front up and the back down. I'm going to line it up. I'm going to take extra time to line it up. And then I'm going to tape with my heat tape over the edges the same way I did with the other one, using extra tape if I want, just to be sure that I'm lined up. Okay, I like to trim off that tape on the edges. I don't want any tape. I don't want any tape on this side because it seems to bother the print. Sometimes, depending on your tape, you'll see the tape line. So don't have any tape on here. Now that you have it set up, this yes is on the bottom. It's printed, it's fine. It's not going to be ruined by most tape. My tape does not ruin it. If yours does, then you'll have to come up with a different way of doing this. But now I'm going to put this into my press, and I'll show you how it comes out. All right, my press is done. Remember, this is hot, hot, hot. Hot. You can wait till this is cold to peel it if you want. I like to do it hot because I'm impatient. And now you have the beautiful back. The license is done and it looks amazing. The front, the back. This is awesome. Any kid's gonna love to have this under their tree. They do have plastic blanks, which would be less sharp, and this one is a metal blank, but the license design will work on any of them, and it comes out looking fantastic.